What's up, guys? Barbarian or Bust here today with the dual wield Rend Bleed Barb. We're gonna show off Infernal Horde Tier 7. Okay. Different way to play Rend. And let's see how it does compared to the other Rend. So of course, the biggest problem we had before was the actual boss fight. The boss fight was brutal, and because of that, you know, Rend, it could do tier 7, but it was difficult. This way should be, in theory, stronger, and we should be able to clear things faster. And this is mainly a Rend variant instead of Rend Rupture. You're kind of only hitting Rupture to finish off the enemies when they're instead of letting them bleed out. Okay, last wave. This was a really good one. We got lots of Hellborn. Then we'll do the cancel fight. Alright, so this is still, it's pretty similar to the other Rend Rupture. Except this one really focused more on Rend. Okay, too many of these. We gotta kill some of them. The Rend is really what does all your damage right now. Where before it was kind of like a mix of Rend and Rupture. Where this one is more on Rend. I was actually hitting Iron Skin as I died. That was really crappy. Okay. So it seems like we don't have enough health for this fight, which is really crazy. Because we have a lot of health. So you Rend. Only use Rupture. We only use Rupture for, honestly, the increased attack speed. Rend does all our damage. And we also use Rupture for our increased cooldown. Okay, that's gonna kill us. Okay, this guy kind of sucks here. This guy's almost dead. I don't know which one's worse here, to be honest with you. Seems like we can get one shot kind of easily, which is not good. Try to get out of the way of those things. A lot of little things happening here. Need to get out of the way here. Okay, here we go. This guy's gonna be dead in just a second. Okay, one left. And he's in the middle, which is kind of crappy, because the dragons are coming soon. Okay, there we go. We're getting him down pretty fast.
Not ready yet.
Let's try to walk out of the way of some of those things there. Don't want to get hit by all those right now. Okay, this should be it. And almost. There we go, he's dead. And that is the dual wield Rend Bleed Barb. As you can see, we could kill the council a lot quicker than we could with the Rend Rupture version. So the big differences for this one are A, we are using the Grandfather, B, we are using the Magnum Opus, which gives us a massive damage multiplier. And we aren't using Creeping Death because Creeping Death only works on the council when we stagger them, where Elements works half of the time that we're actually doing damage. That's a big difference. I did try this build with this amulet, and unfortunately, without the slaking, our fury falls off. If you have a better way to solve fury than what I have here, you could use this as well. I decided to go all in on the Grandfather for our critical strike. As you see here, we have a 98% chance to critical strike to deal 2,000, almost 100 critical strike damage, which is the best way to scale your gushing wounds. Unfortunately, the Fields of Crimson is not as good. It still works, but you have to play Rend Rupture instead of just more of using Rend and then Rupture to finish enemies, or just to get your cooldowns. If you don't have the Grandfather and you have the Fields of Crimson, I still suggest you give this a try, but the playstyle is a little different. You have to Rupture first to get the blood pool and then use your Rend, instead of rending all the time and just using Rupture to finish enemies. Those are the big differences. So you can still use this with the Fields of Crimson, playstyle's mildly different, and then your points will look a little bit different on your Paragon board, and you won't use vulnerable damage, you use crit strike damage for your gems. Couple differences, it can work either way, so whichever one you have, but the Grandfather is the stronger version of the two. And in the helmet, we are using the Harlequin Crest. We are also using the Rage of Hergath, and I didn't want my last Masterworking to hit on damage over time. Anything else but damage over time would have been great. Then we have Intercom in the Gauntlets with attack speed, critical strike chance, ranks to rend, steel graph stuns, and critical strike damage. Very important to have ranks to rend, critical strike damage, and also important to have attack speed. In the pants, we use the Iron Warrior with strength, max life, resistances, and steel graph stuns. As you see, you could swap out one of those resistances and put a gem in here. We are capped out in our resistances, so we have room for something else in the defensive slot, like Barrier Generation. And in the boots, we have the Weapon Masters with strength, fury per second, very important to have that, fire resistance, movement speed, and steel graph stuns. It is very important to have fury per second. The strength I would take out for more max life. We have 52,000 max life, and I felt like I wish I had more. So I would take out the strength. And in here, we use the elements aspect with strength, max life, critical strike damage, damage to berserking, and rend size. Very important to have rend size on both of your weapons, and also critical strike damage. If you don't have your damage while berserking maxed out, then get a couple tempers to max that out. Otherwise, you want double critical strike damage in this spot, or vulnerable damage if you don't have your hemorrhage node maxed out. And in here, we use the conceited aspect. This aspect is awesome because we have our barrier up from iron skin up all the time. And in here, we have strength, max life, critical strike damage, rend size, and another critical strike damage. Very important that this is an axe. You need this spot to be an axe, and you'll see in the Paragon board. Next, the star of the show, the magnum opus. This is what increases our damage so much. along with the Grandfather. And this weapon, you do want to hit a masterworking on max resource. And the Grandfather, this is also amazing for this build, and this ramps our damage up so high that we can do T7 quite easily. And then Ring of the Ravenous. I absolutely love this ring. My last masterworking hit on brawling skills, I would rather it hit ranks to Rend, but with it hitting brawling skills, our Warcry now deals 27% more damage. That is huge. And then the Ring of the Starless Skies, absolutely amazing ring, a must need for this build. In the amulet slot, we have the aspect of slaking. Very important so that you have max fury up all the time. It's also very important to have max fury for the magnum opus. The more fury you have, the more damage the Magnus Opus does, so you need these two combos right here. And that's why the fury per second is also needed, because this loses 10 fury per second, so you have to start off every fight with Flay, and then once you have a chance to Rend, slaking takes over and you're absolutely fine. Very important to have ranks to cut to the bone, attack speed, and critical strike chance. For our weapon expertise, we take two-handed axe. And for the skill tree, we take 3 points in Flay into Battle Flay. We take 7 points into Rend into Violent Rend. As you can see, our Rend deals almost 2... Oh, there we go. Now because of our elements, we deal almost 3 million damage. Then we take 3 points to Imposing Presence, 3 points into Martial Vigor, 3 points into Iron Skin for Tactical Iron Skin, 3 points into Swiftness, 3 points into Warcry for Power Warcry, 3 points into Booming Voice, 3 points into Aggressive Resistance, 3 points into Pit Fighter, into 3 points to Slaying Strike, and for Rend build, I love having 1 point into Exposed Vulnerability. This will make sure that all enemies are vulnerable 100% of the time. 3 points into Rupture, into Warrior's Rupture, and with the Grandfather setup, you only use Rupture just to finish off enemies, or to reset cooldowns. 1 point into Hamstring for 3 points to Cut to the Bone. And this is why Cut to the Bone is so important. It scales your bleed damage by 35%. That's awesome. And our enemies are vulnerable all the time. 3 points into Steel Grasp for Fighter Steel Grasp. 3 points into Duelist. 3 points into Tempered Fury. We need as much Fury as we can possibly get for the Magnum Opus. And 3 points into Invigorating Fury so we can keep healing as we use Rend. And our key passive is Gushing Wounds, and this is why we use the Grandfather, and this is why we also have so much critical strike damage in the build, because of Gushing Wounds. And make sure for your arsenal selection, you have all your weapons on dual wield, especially your Rend. This is how you're going to deal the most damage with the Magnum Opus. And for the Paragon board, our first board is Cleaver. Wielding an axe deals 12% increased critical strike damage. Because we're dual wielding and we do have an axe, we get this bonus 100% of the time, which also helps our Gushing Wounds. This is a great bonus. Very important to have an axe. Then we go to the Carnage board, where we take Ambidextrous. After the Carnage board, you path to the left into Warbringer for Ire. And it's important you path here first so you have these nodes give you extra max fury. So that's very important. You want to hit those requirements on this board. After the Warbringer board, you path to the right of the Carnage board for Bonebreaker, where we take Wrath. After Bonebreaker, you path down to the Blood Rage board, where you put Exploit. Your next board is at the top of the Carnage board for Decimator, where you take Disembowel, and this will help with your cooldown reductions with all your skills. And because I'm using the Grandfather, I did need a little bit of extra vulnerable damage, so I took these points here. And your final board is off the Warbringer board, which will be Hemorrhage. And as you see, my Hemorrhage is almost maxed out, and I'm happy with that. Let's go over the Paragon one more time. So the starter board, path up into Carnage, path to the left for Warbringer, path to the right of Carnage for Bonebreaker, path down into Blood Rage, go back to the Carnage board, path up into Decimator, and then your final board is off of Warbringer and is your hemorrhage node. Very important to do it in that order so you can hit all these targets here. This one is not as needed, but so you can hit all your targets. See right here. We hit them all. And if you want to take that, we could still hit that. So that is very important to do it in that specific order. And that is the dual wield Rend Barb. I had to give Bleed another chance, and I'm very happy that Rend is able to clear tier 7 easier than my last video. I hope you enjoyed the Bleed build. Give this one a try. Unfortunately, it does require 3 mythic uniques, but if you have these items, give this build a try. This build is super fun. It can kill all the tormented bosses, no problem. I haven't done too many pit pushes, but I did try 105 and it did clear that with ease. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.